Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Celine, and I'm so glad that you can join me today. In today's episode, we have quite a bit to talk about. These are some of the downloads that I've been receiving, and it'll be a very ADHD type of chat. We're just gonna be yapping about what's to come, the things that I've been receiving, and I hope that you find this enlightening. Maybe this will resonate with some things you've been going through as well. So, to start, TikTok ban. Everybody is moving in many different platforms, and then they reinstated it right away, which was odd. I was not smart enough to keep the app. I was so upset that I deleted it, and now I can't get it back. If you are from my TikTok family, welcome. This is a much longer format, so I can really dive into the topics. Sometimes we really need to step outside the app because short form content, it's very surface level. If you really want to ascend, if you really want to learn more, you have to dedicate to studying more about these things even deeper. Please like and subscribe so I can keep making these videos for you. And let's get started. We are finally in Aquarius season. Pluto in Aquarius. We're all settling into this new energy now. If you are also in the ascension journey, you might be feeling a lot of bodily changes, lots of activations in our upper respiratory, in our sinuses. Our guides are doing a lot of activation reconstruction, but it's all for the best. Within the next 20 years, we will see a rapid shift. Many changes, not just in our society, but within ourselves, with how we interact with people. This will open up more of our multidimensional nature. Gaia is a living, breathing planet. She is very much alive, and we are her cells. The root chakra of Gaia is in Africa. Within the planet, Gaia has these nodes, or she has her chakra centers. She has different ley lines. She has different kinds of systems. But her root chakra is in Africa. Her sacral chakra is in Oceania. The solar plexus chakra is in Asia. The heart chakra is in Europe. And then throat chakra is North America. Third eye chakra, South America, crown chakra, Antarctica. Antarctica is the crown chakra of the earth. It is a vital point where a lot of our divine information descends to the planet. I've been seeing a lot of ice caps, the Arctic tundra. Many of the codes that they left here before the Ice Age, just after Lemuria had fallen, our ancient ancestors decided to keep the codes of humanity locked into ice caps. They needed to figure out a way, like, how can people receive this, like the future people, how can they receive these codes within their DNA? Then the Ice Age happened. These are codes that would eventually flow into our water streams, ingested into our DNA. Everything is literally pre-planned. So even like the melting of the ice, it's all pre-planned within this time period so that it moves through our streams of water and goes back into our body. A lot of the intelligence that they've had before goes back into our body. There are Lemurian crystals that are also frozen in the ice caps. They were showing me all of these minerals untapped, hidden in Gaia. There's really so much abundance in Gaia as a planet that we will never have to leave. However, it's also good to explore other planets because why not? These ice caps held a lot of the CDT plates. The CDT plates, they're kind of like these discs. They're like crystals, and several of humanity's codes were encoded in these plates. We are Gaia's cells, and if we don't take care of her, we are also destroying our body. The food that we eat from our soil and all of the vitamins, all of the minerals that is sustaining us comes from our great mother Gaia. So if we destroy our DNA, it also affects her. That's why our food is always so targeted. We live in a harmonic universe. There's 5 harmonic universes. You go through your ascension. Let's say you're in the first chakra, second, third. That is the first harmonic. And then you start leveling up. You get to 4, 5, 6. That's the second harmonic. Then 6, 7, 8. And then you keep going on till you get to 15D, and then it goes to the timeless, but the dimensions go forever and ever. The more that the planet and everything, it has to be cohered to move together to a higher octave to create this harmony. We're kind of like an orchestra that is kind of flowing together within the morphogenetic field. It's important to pick up several of our fragments or soul fragments from previous timelines because this is what helps us cohere within the group. So, if you are, let's say, a soul fractal from a different timeline, or your IP address of where your soul is in a different reality, your bandwidth is a lot different from the collective, you will experience a different reality. What we are doing is extremely important because everything in the universe hangs at a balance. Like, we are here on a very important mission because this affects other beings as well, because we are connected in the tree of life. Whatever happens here, God forbid Earth blows up or whatever catastrophic thing, we're trying to stop humanity from devolution. We're stopping consciousness fragmentation and all of these other things because it greatly affects them too. And we want humanity to keep on going. Pluto moving in Aquarius signifies a great change. So everything with the planet alignments, all of those things, it's kind of pre-planned already. Now, why is self-reflection important? When we revisit memories, when we heal our timelines, we heal our karma. This process allows individuals to understand our past actions and motivations better. You might have had a lifetime where you did something bad and you are repeating that pattern. And only until you recognize that pattern, even if it's from your mother, your father's line, there is this repeating pattern or algorithm that goes on with your family. So if you are the chosen one of your family, you volunteered to take on more responsibility, you changed that within yourself. One of my past life memories, I was a Syrian, and we were the geneticists programming a lot of the DNA linked to several timelines. And I've been getting more and more download about the DNA. We have so many junk DNA and strands that are not even activated. In this lifetime, you will develop more of your telepathy, more of your gifts, because we've been really dumbed down. Activating those DNA strands, we can go back to our previous states before. If an entity destroys a human's DNA, it affects future timelines. So there's been all of this timeline wars. There's been all of these wars with our DNA. The DNA is linked to several timelines, and if you destroy our DNA, it also affects future timelines. So, for example, throughout history, there's been the mixing of DNA with animals and humans, a lot of the vaccines, all of these other things. I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, DNA has been so degraded, and we are really trying to prevent that so that we can keep continuing to expand humanity's consciousness and not devolve. Lately, my body clock has been changing. My sleep has just been all over the place. I've been feeling so tired. It's almost like I'm jet lag when you are tethering between different dimensions, more and more your telepathy will also get stronger. But It takes time for our body to get used to where you are stationed, or especially, just the changes in the planetary energies and all of that. When you awaken, you are more sensitive. The last time Pluto was around, we had the French Revolution, which changed humanity drastically. It actually goes in cycles, and we are due for one. It's kind of like that trampoline where humanity goes really low and it like picks back up so that we can raise our vibration. There will be many shifts in our perception regarding our economy. For one, Bitcoin is an instrument that helps us become more decentralized and autonomous. We are never going back to the gold standard. We have to transcend the system. Many of us are already operating in the 5D paradigm, which is the collective consciousness and is heart based. However, there are still several that are in the 1D, 2D, 3D and are acting like mammals in their lack consciousness. Now, let's talk about gold. Gold was this element that was revered in many ancient cultures, such as the Mayans and Egyptians, because this was a symbol of eternity as a divine connection. This was valued not just for its beauty, but for its spiritual significance. So, this represents something that is everlasting, that it does not decay or rust. And so, this was an embodiment of the eternal. Also, gold has the 14D frequency, and it's a lot of like that solar logos. Gold was used because they switched from using commodities to minerals, because using food to exchange for value was rotting, and gold was a lot better. And then we had the coinage. So, we're going to be seeing a lot of changes with our money, and we have to be open to letting go of it, because this has been the old system way back in Egypt, way back in Rome. With the rise of the European economic system, the perception of gold started shifting dramatically. It moved from being this sacred and spiritual element to something of commodity associated with wealth and administration. So, a lot of the gold from Egypt, Akhenaten had so much wealth, and that was taken. This economic change and disconnection from the spiritual aspects of gold became a tool for economic control rather than a representation of the divine presence. This was where a lot of the false gods happened, who took the value of the eternal representation of God to a way to transact and to control people, control the slaves. That's why we are here now, correcting the past. Thousands of years since Egypt. That's why we're never going back to the gold standard. Otherwise, we will just repeat what happened in Egypt and Rome. Following this period, Egypt transitioned into a Hellenistic culture, heavily influenced by Greek culture, philosophy, and politics. By that time, Jesus Christ appeared in the early 1st century AD, and Egypt was a province of Rome Empire, and it was still kind of this cultural and religious hub within Alexandria. It was a major center of learning and spirituality. A lot of the spiritual practices of ancient Egypt, including the gods, the myths, persisted to some extent, influencing the surrounding religions. During the Roman Empire, there were also a lot of rising influences of Judaism and early Christian movements, with Jesus' teachings spreading different cultures, including those that were historically tied to ancient Egypt. This society was marked by a lot of this convergence of various religious beliefs, making it a significant period for the development of what ultimately led to Christianity. When the Library of Alexandria was burned down, this severed so much of our history, and the Essenes, they were the original Christos lineage keepers, entrusted to bring back the law of one. Everything regarding the initiatic path were in the Library of Alexandria, and so that was burned down. However, it is in our DNA, so we are activating those again. Then there were several inversions that's happened, like the tree of life, the Metatronic flower. It cut off these architectural grids. Metatron is a group consciousness. Again, you have to think of these beings in a group, not just one angel. So Metatron was like the head architect. These group of angels, along with others, rebelled against the law of one. Some were captured and they took their configurations and their light frequencies, took the CDT plates and inverted a lot of the original Christos blueprint. Then they started doing a lot of black magic, the cabal happened, took the gold from Egypt, then created the banking industry, so on and so forth. It's been a long history. Gold was a representation of the divine connection. When you get a hold of the gold, you get a hold of the divine, which is you. If you control money, then you control the divine. 8D is the voice of God. It's in your thymus. This forms a triangle, 5D, 6D, 7D. 8D is the thymus, the network. Then this connects to 9D, 10D, and 11. This is like your antenna to the cosmos. 9D is the hub of creation. 10D is where a lot of the Nephilim wars happen, Orion wars, the fallen angelics. 11D, then 12D is the fall of Lyra. If we don't fix our money, nothing will ever change. It's really important that we change how our money is. We use it every day, but not many can really explain it. Money is a way to assign value, to easily exchange value, and to store value in the future. A debt that traps you is not really good debt. It is a Trojan horse to your freedom. Our money wounds can stem from lack of information or lack of discipline. It's good to keep manifesting and saying our affirmations, but until you really understand how money works and how wealth generation works, you will be stuck at the same place your parents did. Money is like water. It has to be moved to let it flow and out of your life. If your water is just stagnant, it's not doing anything, then it has no movement. It is safe to spend money. Open yourself up to paying happily and receiving happily. Notice all the abundance in your life. The root of the economy is deeply rooted in our personal power and how we manage our inner resources. So, starting with our own internal resource in your daily life, this can translate how you manage your energy, your time, your attention, your emotions. Just as our national economy thrives when resources are used efficiently and it is circulated well, your personal economy also thrives when your inner resources are used wisely. Money is just one form of value exchange. It is one that our current society uses, but value exchange happens in every interaction with other people, such as your knowledge, your offering of your emotional support, or when you contribute your skills to a project. The key is to recognize the value in what you have to offer and to be open to receiving more value from others. The more you give from your heart, the more abundance can come back to you. When you truly understand your worth, you are less likely to undervalue your contributions or overvalue external things. It's about finding that balance within yourself and recognize that you are inherently worthy, that you have something to give, and whatever it is, whatever situation you might be, appreciate yourself, appreciate your gift because you are unique. You have something to give to others. So, this balance creates a healthy economy in your relationship and interactions. The heart, in this analogy, kind of represents our core values and how much we have the capacity to love and to connect. So, just like the banks, it stores and distributes a lot of our currency. Your heart is like your emotional and spiritual currency. If you act from your heart, you are drawing more abundant resource for your inner wealth. And the more that you give from this place of authenticity and love and generosity, the more it will seem to even grow. It's almost like you are compounding your good karma in a financial sense. True wealth is really about our capacity to give and receive love. All other forms of wealth, this all stems from the fundamental capacity to give and receive love. This will enable you to transform your relationship and your concept of economy from, let's say, one of scarcity, from competition, to more of an abundance and cooperation with others. We're really now shifting into more of a collective consciousness because other beings move as a group, as a collective. It's almost like that beehive type of moving together because they're very attuned. It's a very symbiotic relationship. Me and my friends actually started doing this where we tap into each other and we are aware of what we are feeling. I know when we go offline, and sometimes when I'm in this death space, it really feels weird not to have that visibility. I'm so used to using my other sense perception, my third eye, and, tapping into people that when I'm in a death space, it's like, wow, I feel so 3D. But yeah, you kind of get used to using your discernment. You get used to using your other abilities. And my strongest clair is my hearing. So I pick up information through hearing frequencies. And lately it's been driving me crazy because I hear those very fine sounds. Sometimes when people are talking to me, I start picking up on their patterns and it kind of drains me if they have not developed their self awareness yet. But yeah, I've been using a lot of those earplugs, which has been helpful. Many of these spiritual concepts will be more mainstream. And just like before, during the Renaissance, the Stoics and the polymaths were channeling a lot of these information. It's how they built these amazing structures without lasers or cranes. They used a lot of drugs back then too. If you looked at Da Vinci's documentaries or his books, they did a lot of drugs. Kind of one of the things how they pick up a lot of this information, but they were very much attuned to channeling. They used a lot of snake venom actually. This week, we will enter the year of the snake. If you notice, the caduceus in the Nile River, people used to go on these walks to begin their initiatic paths. The caduceus is this staff with two snakes wrapped around it and sometimes has wings on top. This was named after the ancient Greek god of medicine associated with snakes, and his staff was intertwined with snakes as a symbol of medicine today. They used snakes as antidotes before. They used snake venom as many different types of medicine. They also use snake venom to get high all the time. They use it to heal people, different kinds of things. Snake venom can do so much. The reptilians came here as one of the four founding families. However, they were supposed to bring wisdom, and there was like a lot of internal conflict within their race. Year of the snake, so lots of wisdom, integration within the collective, also healing. The snake has also been the symbol of the Kundalini. So we're activating our Kundalinis as Gaia is also activating her Kundalini. Now, going back to the Nile River was a symbol of the initiatic path that one goes through in life. The initiation of self discovery started very early on when most people were still young. The opposite of the river is to go up and then you go down, you integrate your feminine, your masculine, you contemplate, you get a lot of downloads while you do your walks. Going through the initiatic path, you are experiencing identity deaths. It's like breaking your lens so that you make bigger room for more light, more aperture can come into you, more information. That is what consciousness is. Consciousness is light information. Asking yourself questions like, who am I today? What do I want to do? What do I want to create? How do I want to communicate with other people? Many other things. I usually journal on this, but I will share to you some of journal prompts and I will link it down below. Another thing is that we need to start understanding time, and time can get really complicated. It was one of the dimensions that really took me a long time to understand. And 4D, or the tesseract, there are many cubes in the cosmos, and 4D is the blue tesseract. You also see this in the Marvel movies. The network of trees and mountains has these geometric codes, and here lies a lot of these time codes for the planet and the fourth chakra. So, Europe is the fourth chakra. There are codes in the Alps and mountains in Iceland, the caves, Antarctica. Many of the mountains have these geometric configurations. So, we will be seeing a lot of shifts with the mountains. There's been earthquakes in China, flooding, all kinds of changes. I would always see the Marianas Trench shifting too. So there's going to be a lot of changes within the soil, within just the elements. We can activate, I think one of the things that they're trying to do is to activate the pyramids again. We have gotten a hold of a lot of the stargates. We will see the pyramids activating again. These planetary pyramids are all over the world, and it's how they connect with each other before. They didn't have airplanes back then, so how else would they know, right? There's pyramids in China, Myanmar, India, South America, Egypt. It was a way for them to move together. They would go into the temple, they would resound. It was all about frequencies and sound. This is how they got blueprints, how they got downloaded with many of the information, even the cathedrals. This was a way, the way it's structured through sound and frequencies. This was how other beings were able to communicate, which is one of the reasons why I went to the National Cathedral to activate it again. 6D is where the architecture is. Many angelic beings are in 6D, so they are the ones that are constructing reality. You probably know them as angels, but angels are different fractals of light and configuration. Many of these beings have frequency signatures. 3D, 6D, 9D connects. 90 is essentially the hub where all the central information gets filtered. 8D is kind of like the back office. And if you can picture a tree from its root and it goes up to its trunk, there are 12 major pyramids in the world, which correlates to the 12 unique pitches within an octave. The concept of scales in music involves in how the harmonic universe is organized within this pitches into a framework, and this is how it dictates the melody and harmony of how we cohere, because we look like tree lights. Each reality weaves together into the morphogenetic field, which a lot of us, we kind of coalesce within each other. We're kind of like a strand of pearls. All the pyramids would have to be activated and attuned to one another. To be coherent, you need speed of light, matter, gravity, and just like those wind up music boxes, you probably have seen those before. Each node represents a note. So when you wind up everything together, it creates this melody, and everything is like cohered together. And this is what creates the music of spheres. Pythagoras actually wrote a lot about this, also Plato. If you want to read about that, they explain geometric shapes, cymatics. then we are able to communicate with the cosmos, with everybody else. The universe moves like a wave under the tree of life, and each planet resounds at a different note or an octave. Earth is kind of off pitch right now because we are not harmonious within each other. We are dissonant against other people. So that's why we need to activate our hearts to see that we are really all tied together. We're supposed to be moving together with our hearts to form that melody. But hopefully soon we will activate more hearts and people will activate more of their kundalinis. That will be great. Gaia is in 5D now. She used to be in 8D, so she's going to go back to where she was originally stationed before she had fallen, the fall of Aramatena. So we're ascending back to 8D, ascending more and more. Some people's consciousness are still kind of in the lower IP address. So that's where we need to be more coherent with ourselves and within our bodies to be in alignment and start integrating our polarities. Because the planet is moving to a much higher octave, and basically, there's going to be a body drag. If your body and the planet is moving to a much higher resonance and your consciousness is still lagging behind, that's a significant drag. So that's when you feel anxious, you feel depressed because you are not in your body. Being in 0 point is embodiment. Your consciousness is your light lagging behind. If you are off time, you get depressed if you're thinking too much of the past and anxious if you're too much in the future. You have to be balanced in the middle, in the 0 point. How do you do this? You clear patterns, you clear karma, understanding, okay, why am I doing this pattern? Where is this pattern coming from? Phile is the mind and Sophia is the heart. So philosophy, you know, you are integrating the masculine and the feminine. This is when you form Heros Gamos within yourself. You go through this alchemical marriage with the divine within yourself, or you could also do this with a partner. When you recognize that the relationship between Philae and Sophia is essential for everyone seeking to understand the role of philosophy in their lives, it invites many of us to explore the synergy as a means to awakening and achieving greater alignment. And so when you are signing the cross, you say, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's questionable because you say Philae, Sophia. It's kind of like cutting your connection because your 8D, 9D connection is here. Your body is separated. You can't communicate to your higher communication centers. And that has been the tool to enslave humanity that way. Philosophy is the study of fundamental questions regarding existence. It is the knowledge, the values, the reason, and the nature of reality. To get back to oneness, to the I am, you die over and over to sit in the void of nothingness. You go through several rounds of identity deaths. You sit in the darkness. You go through your spiritual purification. Many of us has been celibate, especially women, for a while. It's one of the things that my guides has been training me to go into the dark. When you are in the thick of darkness, complete darkness, no distortions, no demons or entities, way lower than hell, it is the very core. It's like right deep in your haro line. So you're just in the void. You need to be able to hold the darkness in its entirety. It will feel like a massive pressure that feels like it is sucking you in, and you need to be able to hold your light to direct that dark energy out. Darkness is kind of like a consuming energy, so being able to direct that energy out is how you're able to create something new. Dark matter needs to be directed or it will consume you. Although it can be very uncomfortable. All these rounds of pressure and fire, you alchemize all of your rage, all of the bitterness, all of these dark emotions. You turn it into gold, into something new, a new creation, a new manifestation. And that is where the true inner alchemy happens. Emotions are energy in motion, and most people don't know that it's their emotions doing the thinking and driving their behavior. By not giving into your emotions, you're able to delay your reaction. People who are not grounded within themselves are the easiest ones to manipulate through their fears. We will always have emotions of fear, discomfort, and aversion to change. We just need to be able to get comfortable with the discomfort. Use this emotion to your advantage. Being self aware is how we start healing. Celebrating our wins, more play, reflect on your strengths, identify your skills, your talents, the qualities that you bring to the table. Consider what makes you unique, how you can contribute to others, recognize your worth, practice your affirmations, your gratitude every day, and really acknowledge your value. We need to start looking for the small wins every day so that we don't get stuck in these dark cyclical loops. Anyway, I think that's a good stopping point for today, and I really hope that you found this useful. Sorry if I'm all over the place today. I just wanted to give you as much information. I never know where to start within these topics because my downloads and channeling, it's like all over the place. But take what resonates. Thank you for listening. I hope that you got something out of this. I have many meditations on my shop. I have the harmonizing one, my 0 point, and many other ones. I recently uploaded a new one, which is the timeline and ancestral healing. So if you have mother, father wounds, if you want to connect with your ancestors, I have a bundle on my website. Make sure you grab that and let me know what activations you get, what reflections you get from it. Again, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you soon.